Hello, I am Joe Lovelace Hill, a member of the League of Women Voters of the Greater Dayton area. I'm here today with candidate Zach Dickerson, who's running for the office of Montgomery County Clerk of the Court of Common Pleas. There are two candidates running for one open seat. Those candidates are Zach Dickerson and Mike Foley. Mr. Mike Foley, a candidate for this position, regrets that he could not be here because of a prior commitment. Mr. Dickerson, let's start by you telling us something about yourself and why you want to serve in the position of Montgomery County Clerk of the Courts of Common Pleas.
Well, thank you for having me here, Joe. And thanks to the folks at home for watching, because I know this is not a high-profile race, but the Clerk of Courts serves an important function in county government. The clerk is responsible for the day-to-day operations of our court system. Every day, the clerk goes to work to support the judges that you elect and the attorneys that practice in front of them. And a key way that the clerk does that is by management of some legal technology that's used in the day-to-day operation of the court. That includes Tibera, the e-filing system that allows attorneys to send documents electronically to the court, and CourtView, the case management system that tracks all of the ongoing cases, critical pieces of technology. And if those systems are not looked after, there can be serious consequences, like the cyber attack that happened to the court in May. So understanding all of that, I think it's really important that somebody in this job has a background in technology, and I do. In addition to being a licensed attorney, I've been working at one of the largest legal technology companies in the world for the last 10 years. Don't let the young face fool you. I am 40 years old. I've been doing this a long time. This is work that I love, and that's why I decided to enter this race.
Thank you. What made you decide to run for Montgomery County Clerk of Court, and what experience or experiences do you bring to this position?
Well, I touched on that a little bit in the opening. Having a background in technology and law is really important for the Clerk of Courts. And I wish Mr. Foley were here. I know he said he had a prior commitment. Apparently he had a prior commitment in 2018 because he did not attend this event then either. The Clerk of Courts is not, the office is not being run well right now. There are a number of changes that I would make if I were to come in. There are a lot of opportunities for technology improvement. So as one example, we have a citation system. So if you're issued a traffic ticket, there's a technology that's out there that we don't use that allows the officers to send that electronically to the court. But right now, the way that it works in Montgomery County is a physical piece of paper has to be delivered from the police officers to the court to have that ticket resolved. That's wildly inefficient because they put it into the computer at the police office, take it to the court, and then one of the clerk employees has to type it up and put it back into a computer. I'd like to change that. I think that would save us some money and time. So there are a lot of opportunities. I mentioned the cyber attack that happened. We need somebody with a background in technology that will prevent something like that from happening again. There's just a lot that the clerk does that my background directly applies to. Everything I have done in my professional life for the last 10 years has prepared me to do this job.
The second question is a two-part question. I'll read both parts. If you want me to read it again, I will. There are many duties assigned to a clerk of court. What is the most important duty of that office? And what will you most enjoy about being clerk of courts?
So give me the first part again. There are many duties.
There are many duties assigned to a clerk of court. What is the most important duty of that office?
Well, I hate to keep going back to this, but really is management of the day-to-day operations of the courthouse that allows our judicial system to function. And that is really where Mr. Foley has fallen down. If you look at what's happened since he's been in office over the last 2 years. What would I enjoy most about this job? like I said, I'm a nerd. I'll be the first to admit it. And a lot of people don't know what the clerk does because it's not terribly interesting work for most people. But like I said, this is a field that I have been in for my entire professional career, law and legal technology. It's all I've ever done. And so being in that environment is really what interests me. So that's why everything about this job is something that I want to do.
Thank you. Accuracy and efficiency are obviously very important to the efficiency of this office. What changes and or improvements will you make to the Clerk of Courts?
Well, I mentioned one of them, creating the new e-citation system so that we can cut out some of the paperwork that the clerk's employees have to do. Um, Additionally, outside of the things that are done in the clerk's office, there are other opportunities for the clerk to serve the community. So, as an example, having been to law school, I understand that as a law student, one of the most valuable things that you can get is on the job, hands on experience. So, I reached out to the University of Dayton Law School and I said, is there any kind of a formal program that connects the University of Dayton Law School students with practitioners in our area? And they said, well, kind of, but not really. That's something that I would like to create because not only does it help the law students at the University of Dayton, if students intern with people here in town, they're more likely to stay here versus going off to Chicago or New York or somewhere else. If they can build a foundation, make the connections, network, and put roots down here, those people stay here. And that's good for our community.
Thank you. Mr. Dickerson, in closing, we would like to provide you the opportunity to give a closing statement.
Thank you. I wasn't sure where your questions were going to go today. There were a lot of things that I wanted to talk about to be able to tell you. It is important for me, given the political environment that we're in, that is so divided, and how our country, the partisanship has really torn us apart. I want to run a positive campaign, but it is important for me to give information to voters so that they know who they're electing. And there, like I said, have been some serious problems in the clerk's office under Mr. Foley. So the cyber attack that I mentioned, it happened in May. The judges were affected by this as well because they use these same pieces of technology in the court. And after it happened, after a month of watching Mr. Foley mishandle the situation, the judges unanimously signed this letter and sent it to him. In this letter, the judges demanded that Mr. Foley bring them a list of 3 vendors so that they could pick one to do a technology audit of his office to get to the bottom of what happened and prevent it from happening again. Because the judges don't trust Mr. Foley to do his job. And I think this letter tells you everything you need to know about how to vote in this race. The judges in the court, the people that work with Mr. Foley, that see how he runs his office and are with him every single day, do not have confidence in him. At the very end of this letter, they included a line that let him know if he didn't comply, they would issue a formal administrative order on the record to compel him to do so. This is a critical job in county government. The clerk serves a very important role. We need someone that has the experience and the background to do the job right. And right now, the judges don't have confidence in Mike Foley, and the voter shouldn't either. You deserve better than what you're getting in the clerk's office, and I have the background and experience necessary to do this job right. That's why I'd like to ask for your vote in November.
Thank you. Thank you for your participation today. Good luck in your campaign. The League of Women Voters encourages all candidates to run an issues-oriented campaign. Our goal is to educate the voting public and strengthen our elective political process. Look for the League's voter guide in the libraries and on your doorsteps the week of October 12th. Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd. Early voting begins October 6th at your Board of Elections, or you can request an absentee ballot. However you decide to vote, your opinion matters and helps make our democracy work.